So what is the reason for giving priority to recurrent spending, which has no impact on the welfare of the Nigerian people, and you neglect in total that segment that people in my village, people in your village will feel that government is working, roads, schools, healthcare, everything you can imagine. Sir, it would be nice to know why.
And we, as legislators, our last stop is you. You are the one making the payment. So tell us, when do you think this will happen? And if it will not stop, then we will know what to do, because there is no need to continue to approve your budget when you have not paid for 2024. 2025 is almost zero. Then you want us to approve another money for 2026. Does it make sense? You as Accountant General, does it make sense for us to approve 2026 budget given the poor performance of 2024 and 2025? Answer.
Today is February 12th. We have 6 weeks more. We wanted to talk to this, through this committee, to the National Assembly and Nigeria. How implementable is the payment of the 30% and 2024-2025 outstanding within the next 6 weeks?
As we speak, they have not released capital projects. Even as we have extended the time, and unless you do something magically, March 31st, we end in about 6 weeks' time. So what you couldn't do in 1 year, 2 months, that miracle will be performed between now and then. But let me ask, sir, in all cases, the recurrent is from most of the agencies. The recurrent aspect, which is civil service, the bureaucracy, their budget is released in full to travel abroad, to local travels, foreign travels, including clear wastages that are contained in many of the recurrent expenditure. You release the money in full. So I started asking myself, what is the attraction? If indeed you have physical deficit, why would you draw a critical balance? Okay, on the recurrent side, we will also cut 50% and transfer it to the capital side. Because it is the capital side that Nigerians can benefit. If the contractors are not paid, my own members, workers, they will not be paid. If they are not paid, they cannot pay rent. They typically live in small houses where most people build as their ultimate passion. So I just need to understand why the recurrent perform 100% and you are at ease to approve it, but capital, why not rebalance? Even in budget, I know you have what you call environment. When I was governor, I tried to strike a critical balance between recurrent and capital. So when you celebrate and you easily release recurrent for people to travel, for people to go on medical treatment abroad, to do all of the things that recurrent entail. And it's not about salary. The only thing sacrosanct about recurrent is the salary. But if you look at the detail of your recurrent, salary is only a fraction of the actual total recurrent expenditure. So what is the reason for giving priority to recurrent spending, which has no impact on the welfare of the Nigerian people, and you neglect in total that segment that people in my village, people in your village will feel that government is working, roads, schools, healthcare, everything you can imagine. Sir, it would be nice to know why the recurrent perform effortlessly, which doesn't benefit Nigerian people. And the one that benefit the people, you lock it up, and as we speak, you have not released the keys.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. Yes, particularly last year, we saw what we have never seen before. We have never seen before contractors protesting to the National Assembly or to the Ministry of Finance for their payments. But it has happened, it's happening. What the question I want to ask is that, from what I hear And what I know is that, one, subsidy has been removed, more money is coming to government. Naira has been devalued, more money is coming to government. The revenue generating agencies, custom and other agencies, have been strengthened, and they're getting more money to government. So, the question is, where are you disbursing this money to? We as a finance committee will have the right to know from you how much is released to you as Accountant General, and to who do you pay this money to? Because most agencies complain that they have not got their capital releases. We just deal with two agencies today. First, NBET, they got almost zero allocation. From 855 billion, they are expecting 858 billion. They are expecting they got only 60 million. We just finished with a fiscal subsidy commission. They got 6.4% allocation on capital release. And we know there are so many contractors that have not been paid even for 2024 projects. So all this money that's accruing to government in large quantity, where is the money going to? You as Accountant General know, we know that no money will be paid until you know. So I think, Mr. Chairman, if you agree, we have to request him to give us details of his disbursements, monthly disbursements, January to December 2025. Maybe that's how we can know what's going on. Otherwise, it's very baffling. It's very embarrassing to a country that as big as Nigeria, giant of Africa, with oil, with money all around. Everybody knows we have revenue, and then contractors, small time contractors have not been paid. And you know for sure, it is when they pay the contractors that they go and pay their workers. And the workers now use this money to sustain themselves and also grow the economy. So, Chairman, Mr. Chairman, sir, I want, if you agree, let the Accountant General give us details of his monthly disbursement, January to December 2025, so that we know where the money is going. And I think it's part of our right to do that, if the chairman agrees. And then, finally, the chairman, finally, let me ask the Accountant General, when do you think these protests that's happening in your ministry, blocking your minister, blocking you, and blocking us in the National Assembly will stop? Because we have a series of meetings here in the National Assembly. I attended many meetings where the Minister of Finance and you, Accountant General, were there when you kept on promising us, you will pay, you will pay, you will pay, and nothing is paid. So when do you think this will end? Because it's very embarrassing to us. The contractors come to the National Assembly because they feel this is their last hope. And we, as legislators, our last hope is you. You are the one making the payment. So tell us, when do you think this will happen? And if it will not stop, then we will know what to do, because there is no need to continue to approve your budget when you have not paid for 2024. 2025 is almost zero. Then you want us to approve another money for 2026. Does it make sense? You as Accountant General, does it make sense for us to approve 2026 budget given the poor performance of 2024 and 2025? Answer my question. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, sir, I want to thank you for your leadership. And I am...
His opening remark, he said, after March 2026, there will never be double budget in this country again. On the premise of that, we extended the lifetime of 2025 budget to March. Today is February 12th. We have 6 weeks more. We wanted to talk to through this committee to the National Assembly and Nigeria. How implementable is the payment of the 30% and 2024-2025 outstanding within the next 6 weeks, so that there won't be any need for any carryover again of all the 30% and the other outstanding after March. That is the explanation I want. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So until when this committee feel it is convinced that the activities of the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation is in line with its obligations and responsibilities, then we will go ahead to consider your budget. And I think that is the ruling of the committee at the moment. So, I don't know if my colleagues have anything to highlight before giving the Accountant General the opportunity to clear up those issues.
Thank you very much.
The obligations that you are referred to, especially for instance in the area of borrowing, it cannot be achieved by the Commission alone without the support of the Parliament, of the National Assembly. Especially, for instance, Section 42 makes it very clear that a debt limit must be set and that the Commission will have a duty on a quarterly basis based on those limits set by the National Assembly on the proposal of the Mr. President to ensure that no state or no tier of government in the Federation can borrow in excess of those limits. But up to today, no limits have been set. And the Commission has been urging the National Assembly to assist us in performing that aspect of our mandate by setting those debt limits so that we can say, by virtue of the limits set by the National Assembly, State A cannot borrow beyond this portion. Again, Section 45 says that no entity or no tier of government can approach a bank or financial institution for any borrowing without obtaining proof of compliance with all the necessary conditions for borrowing as stated in parts 9 and 10 of that act before they can access any loan. But you see, because of lack of debt limit and the fact that those provisions are not being obeyed, they are mostly obeyed in the breach. A lot of borrowings go on without the knowledge of the Commission. And the Act itself has not provided for adequate sanctions and punishment, even if it is by way of huge fines that can deter some of these excesses and violations. So we have been urging the National Assembly to please expedite some kind of, to make some kind of amendment to the Act that would empower the Commission to do more in terms of enforcement. And that will help a great deal. Those processes that the Act says must be done before we can act, let that be declared out of the way, then we can act, sir.
Mr. Chairman, sir, do you have evidence of any letter?
As far as I'm concerned with this.
Okay.
Any?
No, it's not your question.
So,
I listened to our response, and I think that, yes, I think this is an opportunity for us. Mr. Chairman, I need your attention though. Part of the help or assistance that I think we should give also, particularly to government, is that we should try help government moderate some of these expectations, because we know that we still struggle with the financing of the budget. So if somebody has not, or an agency has not completed a cycle, there is no basis to increase, because what we're just doing is we're just expanding the physical space, and we are imposing unnecessary strain on ourselves. So at sessions like this, I think we should moderate those kind of expectations. So if you had 740-something million, you haven't even achieved that. You are moving to another level. It's not as if anything has increased. I think I would rather just limit them to that. That will be my own submission. Thank you.
No, I think if they are not asking for anything new, the madam has explained it. The first part, it's 70% component, which was agreed for all the agencies. The last one is 2024 commitment for jobs already done, not paid.
already completed.
No, not paid. And it's applicable to most agencies. So they are not asking for anything new. Nothing new.
Yeah, because of the liability.
Liability of 2024, which has not been paid.
I did understood the presentation, and that is why I said I have no issue with it. But what I would say is that we are not just going to say, oh, your budget is approved here. No. We are, as a committee, we are going to sit down and look at it. Where we feel, even in the one that have been rolled over, if we feel some of the items are unnecessary, we will, instead of leaving the fund there, we will now take it away and place it to where it is necessary. You understand? So that we don't be overbloating the budget. So I think with this, we can... Okay, sir, let me give you the opportunity.
More. Thank God my Accountant General is here, and I even came with example of letters, both hard and soft copy, where we've asked for a request for special intervention fund. We've asked because we saw how sudden our act was amended, and we've completed the project, we've completed them as at 2024, even before the amended act came up. And then we wrote and begged for, and copies of the letters are here, both hard and soft copy of how we have gone far looking for how to get this money released to us. And they've been fair enough to put it and say, okay, 2026, we'll look into it and release it. We only pray that the fund will be available and we'll be able to carry out the mandate, sir. Thank you, sir.
I don't know if the...
Of finance. And that 70% is the total of the first line item on page 17, as capital is referred to, down to the second to the last of the line item there, which is a total of 532,909,226 naira. That total is not on that sheet, but if you add those figures up, they will give you 532 million, which is 70% of the 761 million of last year. That's the 70%. But why you say why we're asking for more actually came based on the last line. The last line says outstanding obligation to already completed project, which came as a result of 2024 unforeseen capital amendment that affected Fiscal Responsibility Commission. So we didn't actually ask for more or give you more than we got last year. They are paying an obligation, a one-off of 315 million naira from 2024 Capital Amended Act. Thank you, sir. I don't know if... Yes, and
By my left is our Director of Finance at the Commission, Mrs. Victoria Adiwu Angakuru. And to my right is our Director of Monitoring and Evaluation, Bello Gulmari. Mr. Chairman, we have made a presentation as requested by this committee of the 2025 Budget Performance Review of the Fiscal Responsibility Commission, as well as our proposal for 2026. And we are glad for the opportunity to make this presentation. On pages 1 to 3 of our submission, we have outlined the approval for 2025 in terms of the capital, the overhead, and the personnel costs. And as you can see in the summary on page 1, the personnel cost was a total of 361,871,230, while overhead stood at, the total overhead was 738,291,539 naira. And then the capital that was approved was a total of 761,298,893 naira. So the combined total combined approval for us for last year was 1,861,539,000 461,662 naira only. Now, on pages 4 to 5 of our presentation, we have printed out the releases that the Commission got for the period in 2025 as at 31st December last year. The release came to a total of 168,207,246 naira 90 kobo. That is for both 2024 and 2025 releases on the capital side, sir, which amounts to a total of just 6.4%, 6.4% of the amount appropriated to the Commission last year, 2025. On the recurrent side, the appropriation as at the releases as at December 2025 was a sum of 429,294,002 naira 44 kobo, representing 58.12% of the amount appropriated, sir, for the overhead, sir, for the overhead. So the personnel releases totaled 361,871,230 naira was released and expended via IPPIS, representing the total appropriation for personnel for the year 2025. We have put the summary of our budget performance on page 6 of our presentation. Both for capital and what allocations are on total amount we received on capital was for 2025 was 49,315,496 naira.
What is the appropriated?
What was appropriated? That was 761,298,893 naira. 6.4%, sir. 6.4%. 49.3 million. We have also made available information about our internally generated revenue on pages 9 to 12 of our submission.
Okay, before we go to 2026, I think we have seen all the tables of 2025. Your performances have also been highlighted. And I'm sure my colleagues have also taken a look at, is there any comment, any question? Okay, Senator Abiru.
Mr. Chairman, my distinguished colleagues, the representative of Fiscal Responsibility Commission, I welcome you. Now, I've listened to you, and I've, of course, the pages you've referred to, page 6, I've also seen. Now, let me ask, my question 1 is that even Fiscal Responsibility Commission, is it that you don't make revenue in any form? I need to know, because I mean, all I can see here is just about spending. So I want to know, because Fiscal Responsibility Commission, don't you make any revenue in any form? 1. The second point is that looking at your 2026 proposal, and I'm situating it with your 2025 performance on page 6, I can see that your capital, your releases was just very minimal. I mean, I think it's very common with almost all the agencies. But so you had a provision of 761 million in 2025, and you had a release of just 49. Now, in 2026, you are proposing 848 million, if I'm correct. But however, we don't have the breakdown of that. What exactly are you spending the capital on, when in 2025 you didn't spend, and you are still here, and you are surviving? So suddenly, how come you want to spend another 848? You understand? I hope you get the question. So if you provided for 740-something million, you didn't get the money, and you are ill at you, right? So how come you want to spend 848 now, and what do you want to spend it on, is the question. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, distinguished Senator. The point is that we made this honorable committee and the Senate National Assembly appropriated that amount for the Commission for Capital for last year. Incidentally, like we indicated, the releases fell far short, and it affected most of the programs that we had hoped to achieve as at that time. And I'm sure the distinguished senators are very much aware about the funding challenges that attended both the 2024 and 2025 budget estimate for all the MDAs. And it's also the point that these proposals were even made for 2026 was even capped by the budget office, just like we were given like an envelope, So we were given a limit by which we should not even appropriate in above. And we are guided in making the proposals that we have made, in the hope that perhaps there will be better luck, as it were, 2026 in terms of releases, for us to be able to approach. Those items are already in the budget. Perhaps I'll ask my colleague here to give more clue as to those particular projects that we are hoping to achieve with this proposed amount of funds for 2026 budget.
What effort did you make? Because I know that we amended the 2024, 2025 and merged them together. And it was agreed that 30% will be utilized. And then we rolled over 70% to 2026. And that 30% is, the validity is up to March. So what have you been able to do to get that part of the 30%? Or are you saying you have not made any effort to it? Because the Accountant General is here, and I want you to answer that question so that, highlight it to us so that we know why you've not been able to get that release, knowing the importance of the Fiscal Responsibility Commission.
Very well, Mr. Chairman. We are glad for that question, and I'm going to ask my colleague, Director of Finance, to respond to that, because I know she has been at the center of the efforts, along with our Executive Chairman, in pursuing those releases. So, with your kind permission, I'll ask her to please address this question.
Thank you, my chairman, sir. Thank you, distinguished chairman. Thank you, distinguished senators. Thank you for the opportunity. Let me start with a question from our senator. Please refer to page 17 of our submission. Yes, page 17. 17 of our submission, sir. Like the acting chairman said, sir, or the representative of the chairman said, 70% is what is allowed us or proposed for us as budget by the Office of the Minister